Woo! Hello friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents Scents. So believe it or not, I own what some people would consider an unhealthy amount of fragrances, just an absurd number. Over the years, I have purchased fragrances to the point that I have over 2,000 of them. I don't even know how many I have at this point, but last count was right around that number, and there's been a bunch added since then. And with buying that many fragrances and owning that many fragrances, there are a bunch of ones that I own that I've really never even worn. And today we're talking about 10 of those fragrances. Fragrances that I've purchased over the years and for one reason or another just never really have worn them, whether it's because I think they're terrible or they just didn't make much of an impression and I kind of forgot that I even had it. Now I'll have each of these linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. And if you would like a code to save yourself some money at either Triple Traders, Max Aroma, Lucky Scent, Twisted Lily, or So Avant-Garde, pause the video now and use one of these codes to save yourself some money anytime you shop on those websites. Now I have to tell you that some of these fragrances actually, as I started to formulate this video and I got them down and smelled them, I thought to myself, you know, that's actually not that bad. I've kind of been missing out not wearing that one. And then other ones I was like, oh, that's why I didn't wear it. Because it's terrible. All right, let's get one out of the way, a very obvious one. Yop Om. So glad to see you again there, buddy. So most of you out there are probably gonna know Yop Om, especially if you're wearing fragrances over the past number of decades. This has been a big one, big release. You might even say a modern classic. Yop Om I have never liked. I've never dug the fragrance. I even tried to convince myself at one point, hey, it's not as bad as you think it is. It's actually okay, it's got something going on. It smells similar to Original Santal from Creed. It smells similar to Individual from Mont Blanc, only worse than both of those. Yeah, let's give it a whiff. Yeah, it's just sickeningly sweet, like cough syrup mixed with a bit of spice. I hate it so much. So the reason that I don't wear this one is just simply because of that. I don't like it. I know what it smells like. I have worn it before, actually multiple times, but at some point you have to put the bottle down and realize it's not worth it, man. You keep trying to convince yourself it's gonna be okay. You're gonna come around to liking it and appreciating it. It's not gonna happen. It is strong though, very powerful and inexpensive, so it has that going for it, if nothing else. Varvatos JVXNJ Silver Edition. So this is one of the John Varvatos Nick Jonas fragrances. They also have the red edition, the red bottle, and then the blue bottle. And I have to be completely honest with you guys, I 100% forgot how this smelled. It was one of those scents that it may as well have not even existed. This one I legitimately pulled off the shelf and had to spray because, like I said, I didn't remember how it smelled. And then when I checked it out, I said to myself, oh, yeah, that's why. It smells kind of like Versace Dylan Blue. You know, it's kind of a Sauvage-y, Dylan Blue-y type of fragrance. Although to be fair, I checked the pricing on this one before doing the video and it's pretty inexpensive nowadays. So I think at the current price point, it's a decent pickup if you're looking for a blue type fragrance and you don't want to spend any more than say $30. Totally fine. But anything more than that, and I think there's so much other stuff out there that's better than it. And am I gonna be reaching for this one? Nah, but I do like the cap. It's kind of a cool black metal thing. Trying to like say something nice about it. It's like you see somebody who looks like the Elephant Man or something and they're like, pay me a compliment. And you go, yeah, I like your shoes, man. Where do you get those? They look good on you. All right, next one, Porsche Design, the Essence. So Porsche makes amazing cars, fantastic cars. The 911, the Taycan, Panamera, the Cayman, the Boxster, even the Macan, the Cayenne. Basically all the Porsches. They do not make the most fantastic fragrances, though technically I guess it's Porsche Design, not Porsche, so there's like a little degree of separation there, but still. So the reason I went for this one is first off, it's cheap, and then a lot of car companies actually do have really nice fragrances. Although to be fair, some car companies make just terrible fragrances. Looking at you, Alfa Romeo. Terrible atomizer. But Porsche designed the Essence. What's the deal with this one? It's not that it's awful, but it's not something I want to wear. It's very green, actually. Has a decent woodiness to it, kind of a pine note, and like a slight green soapiness almost underneath the woodiness. It's not that it's an awful release. It's just that when I smell it, it does smell inexpensive. So it's one that basically I bought, I smelled once, and then went, oh, yeah, that's something. That's just a cheap green. After that, low DC, Owen Cedar. Now, Issey Miyake has some absolutely fantastic, top of the line cool weather fragrances. Some of those are just mind-blowingly good. The quality is out of control. And this one right here is a warm weather offering. Owen Cedar, cedar and water. Now, it isn't that this one smells bad. The problem is, off my skin, it doesn't last. There's nothing to it. It's basically gone in like 30, 45 minutes. That's how it seems anyway. And so why reach for it, essentially? I did a video on this when it came out, and I have never reached for it since. It's pleasant, it's clean. Yes, a little aquatic with a very light woodiness underneath, but nothing to keep you coming back. Actually, I prefer wood in wood over this, and the new vetiver fragrance in this line from Issey Miyake is actually really nice. This one, unfortunately, just doesn't do it for me. Oh, Toy Boy up next. Kind of matches my shirt, doesn't it? To be fair to Toy Boy, in the designer realm, very unique. Nothing out there, especially marketed toward men, really smells like Toy Boy. It does its own thing. So I give it props for that, absolutely. It's unique. And the performance is not that bad either. And I did wear this a little bit when it first came out, when it was new, when it was getting all that hype and attention. And I gave it some of that hype and attention myself as well. Because frankly, when you smell every new release that's coming out, they start to run together sometimes. So when you get something that's doing its own thing, doing something different, it grabs your attention. It's a nice floral fragrance. It packs a pretty good punch, good performance. Can't complain about that. Quality is nice as well. So there's a lot to enjoy about it. It has the note of magnolia, which barely gets used in men's fragrances at all. But it is one that, unfortunately, I kind of ran through quickly when it was new and just fell out of favor, I guess, for me. Next up, Azzaro Sport. Now, to be fair to Azzaro Sport, if you can pick this up for $20 or something like that, and all you're looking for is kind of a shower jelly, fresh gym fragrance, you could do worse. I have the original bottling. They've changed the cap and made it a little bit nicer, which is a positive because this one just is as cheap as can be. There is absolutely nothing to it. You can tell that they tried to get this out just at the smallest cost possible per bottle. And I honestly would be really, really intrigued to see what the cost per kilogram of this fragrance is. I feel like it's gotta be $15 or something. Just crazy cheap. You're not gonna smell this and start gagging. People aren't gonna smell it and think that you smell atrocious. It's just very paint by numbers. It's simplistic. So this one for me is just because I have so many fragrances. If I'm gonna reach for something that's a refreshing, sporty, gym, summertime fragrance, it's not gonna be this. I'm gonna go for something else. So there's just no point really in wearing it. Next one is a fragrance that I've never worn. And when I sprayed this on the tester strip, I thought to myself, oh, I've been missing out. This is actually pretty good. Yeah, it's Diesel Bad Intense. Now I got this one in, I remember in a haul, and I think I did maybe like a quick first impression as part of the haul, sprayed it on a tester strip like I just did. But then I essentially just put this into the collection, forgot about it. Now I went back and smelled it, like I said, pulled all these things out and smelled them before doing the video. And this stuff is actually really solid. Very pleasant tonka, great warmth and sweetness. Absolute compliment factor is there. You know, it's something that you would put like in the wheelhouse of like Bad Boy from Carolina Herrera, something like that. Where if you like that fragrance, you'll probably like this fragrance. I think fall and winter time, it'd actually be a great choice. And it's one that, more than any of these, I think. And out of all these fragrances, that one is the one that surprised me the most. When I went back and smelled it, I thought, oh, it's actually pretty nice. So when it starts to cool down again, I'm gonna actually reach for that one and see how it works. Okay, next fragrance is from Dunhill, and it is Century. Now the bottle is, I don't know if I wanna say cool, but it's large. It is 135 milliliters, so a good deal bigger than your typical bottle. It does have a magnetic cap, but it's not the greatest magnetic cap. It's kind of weird, but still counts. And this one I sort of liked when it came out. You know, I thought it was a classy sort of fragrance that you could wear casually or to the office. Didn't cost that much, still doesn't cost that much. But I stopped wearing it. And when I went back and gave it a smell here, I remembered why. The opening, the kind of citrusy opening, almost has like a dusty bug spray kind of vibe to it. It's not pleasant. You can kind of get past that, and as it dries down, it gets a little bit better. It is inexpensive, so those are things that go for it, and also the size, of course. But it's one of those deals where I own so much stuff. Why put up with something that you don't really enjoy in the opening? The dry down here is okay, but it's not amazing, so why wear it, essentially? I'm gonna follow that one up with a fragrance done by my good friend, Philip Plein. Philip Plein, I don't actually know him, but can tell by Philip Plein's commercial for No Limits that he's a cool guy.
Philip Plein. Oh, that's Philip. They call me Mr. Philip Plein. Mr. Philip Plein. Mr. Philip Plein.
It's No Limits, super fresh. So a lot of you out there know that I've talked about how much I like No Limits, and I do like No Limits. I think it's great. No Limits super fresh, I don't get it. It smells really similar to No Limits, and it's not super fresh. So it's not a negative thing that it smells similar to No Limits. It should smell similar in some ways, right? Because it's a flanker. It shouldn't be something completely different. At least a lot of people would say that. I think the issue is that No Limits is a fragrance it's pretty pungent. It's pretty strong, that make it a very, very obvious fall and winter time fragrance. It's strong, it's pungent, like I said. It's not something you're gonna wear in summer. So they come out with super fresh. You think, okay, this is gonna be something probably quite different so that we can wear it in summertime. Because again, No Limits is absolutely not a summer fragrance. You spray it on and it smells like friggin' No Limits. Like No Limits toned down a little bit, given a little more of a fruity sweetness instead of just a bomb of leather. But when I smell that, that is nothing I want to wear in summertime. And I don't want to wear it during spring either. So it's basically a slightly fresher take on No Limits. But if I want to wear No Limits, I'll just wear No Limits. I'm not going to wear the slightly toned down version. They're both still, for me, fall and wintertime fragrances. Last one from Original Penguin, Ice Blue. Yes, Ice Blue. I would put this one pretty much in the same camp as Zaro Sport. It's not offensive, it's pretty simple. It's another kind of out of the shower fragrance. This one does have that almost icy, aromatic feel to it. Probably what you would call like an iced juniper or something like that. And then it has a little bit of a sharp citrus. Not too much to write home about, pretty simple. Probably more like a teenager's fragrance for, again, just smelling clean. It is cheap, and it smells cheap, but it's not a bad fragrance for somebody just getting started off, you know, with their collection or just looking for something to wear during spring and summer. That's not gonna break the bank. That's, again, pretty easygoing and simple. For me, it is, as I said, like a Zaro Sport, the type of fragrance where I look at it and I think, why am I gonna wear it, you know? I've got all this other stuff, I'm not gonna reach for it, and I haven't. So there we go, 10 fragrances that I don't wear. Are there others? Yeah, there are. But surprisingly, looking through everything, I was like, no, I've worn that, and I've worn that, and I've worn that, and I've worn that. Somehow, less fragrances than I thought would be eligible for this list. All right, that'll do it for me. Let me know in the comments some of the fragrances that you have and have owned for a while that you don't wear. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.